With that said, what we're gonna do, we're gonna come back because we want to hear more, right? I mean, I feel like a student learning right now. I mean, this is
Exactly.
incredible. So
Hmm.
we'll go ahead and transition to Annetta really quickly before we get to the girls.
Hmm.
Annetta, if you could just talk about sponsoring a Gambian girl, right? And I think that having this conversation, it's very important. Um, with the impact of the foundation and what our goals are. You know, I was fortunate enough to be asked to sit as a board of trustee in with SAG, so it's quite humbling and an honor, really. So if you could just talk about it a little bit, how SAG came about and where we are today, where we are looking forward to go, and how we want to inspire young girls to follow the footsteps of Dr. Sallah and Dr. Njie.
Hmm. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Sallah and Professor Njie, and welcome Oumie and Fatima. So sponsor a Gambian girl is definitely does what it says, is sponsoring Gambian girls to go to school and to give them like hope. So many girls will be thinking, oh, I want to be this thing, but look at my reality, it doesn't match. So that's why we are here today, and that's why we are here um, supporting girls that have the potential, but financially they're not that strong. So we are providing them with the opportunity to stay in school and to become what they want to be. We are just there as a vehicle, helping them to guide them in that way, push them in that way. So we started in 2018. When this thing came up of how do we support girls? How can Gambians abroad make a change? We're not there, but we're still make an impact there. So we are now sponsoring up to 120 girls from nursery to university. And we have two of our girls sitting there, Fatima and Oumie. Our intention is to see them through education. And of course, we can't do it on our own. It's all the Gambians, all the friends of the Gambians that are coming on board. And and trust, they feel trusted that this foundation really means what it says. um so they can see where their money is going. They can see the difference that it's making. And one of these platforms that we are bringing on to have a girls education talk show is just to widen that, and to we have both doctors here and the two girls here that aspires to have a career in the sciences. Later on, when you share your experience of how you got there, some of the barriers that you face, knowing that it's not easy. This is not an easy, whatever you want to do is not easy, but particularly getting into the sciences is not easy. So sharing that your story, and what are the hurdles that you had to overcome to be able to be what you are today. And you're still working at it. You're not just satisfied with where you are. You're still going for more and thriving for more. So that is what we are here today to do. And the essence of the SaGG Foundation is to give hope, to ensure that girls are independent in the future. They can do whatever they want to do. They are not limited to their circumstances, and they can overcome whatever it is. So that's what we are here today. So we are here to empower girls. Yeah, thank you so much, Nate. Anything that you want to contribute, just let us know. And you can find Sponsor Gambling Girl on all platforms: Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. Our website is there. You can find out more information about what we do. Thank you so much. So we move on to the next phase of the program.
Thank you, Annetta. So yeah, let's talk to our young ladies here. Umi and Fatima, right? Fatima, we'll start with Fatima this time, right? Can you tell us what motivates you to study science?
My motivation to study science is to become a medical doctor, specializing as a surgeon. Looking at our surroundings at the hospitals, both private and public, is full of patients, so I therefore would like to take part in saving lives. Although I had wanted to be a journalist, and I have been reading news during our assembly times in school. I even read news this last Monday, but my motivation of becoming a doctor has been with me for a very long time, and I still maintain that. This is because growing up as a child, surrounded with people suffering from different forms of diseases, which motivated me to study science, to pursue a career in which I can contribute to improve the health and well-being of others.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you so much. I think
Yes.
you're gonna do amazing actually. You'll do great for sure. No question about that. All right. Let's go to Umi now.
Well, my motivation has always been to help people. From a young age, I have wanted to help people and I have thought of so many jobs. First of all, I thought of being a lawyer because I thought I would reach out to more Gambians. But reading more about the Gambian health issue, I have seen that Gambia, as a nation, we have about 1.4 billion people, million, sorry, and about 120,000 of these people are faced with mental issues. So due to this, I decided that I want to be a physiatrist. I decided to study mental health. I believe that if I study mental health, I will reach out to more people. Yes, we have female doctors in the Gambia, but we have more of surgeons and other doctors. I believe that mental health is an issue faced by many Gambians. People are faced with depression, stress, and other issues. And I believe that being, being a doctor in mental health, I can help more to reach out to my Gambian people.
Wow, mental health. Yes. Yeah.
That's great. That's great, Umi. Wow. You're on your way. You're getting there, right? How old are you again?
I'm 14.
14. 14. I mean, just think about that, right? I mean, we are sitting here talking to Gambian doctors, right? We have a 14-year-old. And Fatima, how old you said you were?
12.
12. We have a 14-year-old girl and a 12-year-old girl, Gambian girls who are aspiring to become these dynamic women in the future. I think as a society, we can definitely do better, right? In supporting the young girls, to follow the same path that Dr. Njie, Dr. Sallah had embarked on. And no question about it, I think these girls are inspired, obviously, by your stories, doctors, right? And I think it does give hope, like Annetta said, that there's nothing that they can't achieve. They actually do set their minds to it. And this is just the start for them. So I think this is hopeful for our nation, in the Gambia, especially, right? So with that said, let's pivot a little bit and start talking about the real issues, right? That we do face as a society, Africa in general, and more so specifically Gambia, right? I mean, I really don't like to use the word challenges, right? I mean, but because I think that every challenge is an opportunity, right? So today, instead of talking about challenges, we're going to talk about opportunities instead, right? So when we talk about science and gender inequality, and Dr. Njai, I'll throw this question to you. Can you talk to us and discuss what that means, and how can we overcome gender inequality in the field of medicine, particularly in Africa, Gambia specifically? You're right.
Um, I think when you look at the sciences and generally the physical and natural sciences, whether it's chemistry, biology, mathematics, genetics, girls and medicine and specialization, girls and women traditionally are underrepresented. I remember when I did my science degree and announcing that I was going to be a doctor, there were many, many voices that said, "Oh no, you don't. Do you know how long that is? That is going to take so long. Women should do short courses, and you're a woman." And I said, well, it doesn't matter. This is what I love to do, and that's what I'm going to do. So I was fortunate that my parents, my dad specifically, was very supportive, as was my grandfather, even though he did not believe that his daughters should go to school. In fact, my mother never went to school, not because she wasn't bright enough, but all her brothers were sent to school, all her older brothers, but the women didn't, because at the time it was believed that sending women to school was a waste of resources, since they were going to be in the house to do housework anyway and get married and have kids. So by the time we came along, that had changed. So I discovered when I went to school that generally girls, for various reasons, were steered away from science subjects, and this is a subtle thing that, you know, I think it's changing. But in my time, I think probably I was the only one in my A-level class who did like A-level in science subjects, because there were 18 in my Gambia high school A-level class. There were 18 of us. Only 4 of us were girls. The rest were boys, and I was the only one. And I remember there was a certain
atmosphere,
subtle discouragement to say, you know, are you sure you want to do this? And so I think girls need more encouragement in order to venture into science. Girls need to know that they're good at science, you know, because I was very good at science. I was good, like Neneh said, I was good in maths, A-level maths, physics, chemistry, biology. I could have done engineering, I suppose, but my passion really was in the biological sciences and in medicine. So I think that from the family, from families, you know, from teachers and schools encouraging girls, and, you know, and also even within universities, I think more needs to be done to encourage girls. And I think having role models like Neneh and myself to know that, you know, yes, we can do it. You know, here we are, you know, we've reached, you know, really top levels in our fields, and so it's doable. And I think having role models helps a lot. But yeah, there is still, I find, because now I'm at the medical school recruiting students into the medical school, and there is still this pressure on girls to do shorter courses, to say, if you want to do medicine and then you have to specialize, that's going to take a long time. I mean, you can work in medicine, you work and you have your family, and do your specialist training. You know, I know when I went into gastroenterology, I only knew one woman in the UK who was a gastroenterologist. And now there is almost an equal number of women and men specializing in gastroenterology. At the time, I remember a male doctor telling me, oh, no, you shouldn't do gastroenterology. That's really for men because it's really hectic. And I said, well, you know, I really love it. And I love the fact do things with your hands. And we, you know, and he was like, oh, you know, you should do something more sedate. But that was what I loved. And I wanted to do it. And I was determined to do it. And I did. So all these challenges that we face, yes, and there are many challenges, but they are all surmountable. And I think with focus and determination, you can do whatever you want to do. I'm a living example of that.
That's great. That's truly inspiring. Yeah, it is without saying that, you know, the challenges that you talk about, you know, like I said before, it always presents an opportunity, obviously, when, you know, especially when you have setbacks, right? Because for whatever reason, you know, we live in a society and a culture where there's a significant male dominance in just about everything, really, right? But at least we do know that the times are changing, where women are actually in leadership and are leading and are successful at doing it. So in that same light, Miss Dr. Sallah, you heard what the young ladies said, Fatima and Oumie, right? Their aspirations, wanting to, Oumie wants to be in the medical health field, right? So you talked about the human genome, genetics, and stuff. Perhaps maybe you can speak a little bit more on that, and just some of the gender inequality within that area, right? And how perhaps you may be able to motivate other young girls who might be watching right now, such as Oumie and Fatima.
Yeah, so first of all, I think Oumie, you and Fatima, you're in the right, you're on the right track because you have one key thing, which is self-belief. You sound very confident when you speak, and I know you both truly believe that you can achieve what you want, and that is really important. And you've done your homework on how, these healthcare inequalities, whether it's mental health or, surgery because of certain diseases, are affecting your country, which means you also have passion and, you're motivated to go into these areas for these reasons. In terms of opportunities, like I mentioned, the challenge that when I was at the MRC, we didn't have the expertise to analyze these huge amounts of data. That itself presented an opportunity. See, like you said, it was a gap in human resources, a gap in infrastructure that allowed me to kind of go into that direction. And when I joined genomics and bioinformatics, it's a very, very male-dominated field because it's really the intersection of computer science and biological science, right? So I kind of transitioned out of, I had to kind of, have two different thinking hats on. One, my biological and public health, motivations, and two, I had to build up technical expertise and I had to be interested. It was a very strategic move for me. I think for me, it was the idea that if I learn these new skills that are absent in my country, I can help fill that gap and I can help push that on towards other people. And now I remember when we launched our symposium for our foundation, the Health and Science for Gambia, one of the questions I got from the university students was, one, are you married? And two, do you have children? And because like you said, women, like Professor Njie said, are encouraged to do short courses because of this whole family, commitment. But the truth is they wanted to know how I was able to do that. I mean, and like Professor Njie as well, I had family support. I am married and my husband was supportive. His family was supportive of me continuing my education. I did have a lot of noise. One of my uncles said to me, isn't a bachelor's degree enough? Why do you want to learn more? Someone else did say to me as well, a PhD is quite a long time. Do you know that women who do PhDs don't get married? Or if they get married, it doesn't work. None of these things were a discouragement for me because I remember as a young kid growing up, every time I prayed for education, not because I was always interested in learning, but ultimately I wanted freedom. And I felt it was I was good at school. It was the one thing that would make me financially independent, which meant that I could have some sort of control over my life. So, once you have these things, once you believe in yourself, and even if your belief is not strong, make sure you surround yourself by the right energy, that being your family or being your friends. And I feel like that energy itself drives you forward. A really good book I read says, when you want something, the whole world conspires to help you achieve it. So you're on the right track. And I'm really, I admire both of you young girls.
Amazing. I just wanted to come there. When you said you looked at education as a way to get freedom and independence. Girls, did you get that? Did you guys catch that? that education gave her, and it gave me as well. And I'm sure Dr. Ramou, Professor Ramou as well will say, education gave us freedom, independence, control, and we're doing whatever we want to do right now. So girls, that is for you. If you haven't taken anything down this entire program, just take that down, that education equals freedom and independence.